I haven't seen my grandchildren in, it's been for months now. 4 months. And the last time I did see them, it was for maybe 20 minutes at a family gathering where everyone was on their phones, including the kids. I used to think becoming a grandparent would be one of life's greatest joys, but nobody warned me about this part. The part where you become invisible. You know what hurts the most. It's not the missed birthdays or the cancelled visits. It's realizing that your grandchildren barely know you exist. When I call, they say hi for maybe 30 seconds before asking if they can go back to their iPad. When I ask about their day, their week, their friends, I get one-word answers: good, fine, okay. I remember my own grandmother. She lived with us, told me stories every night, taught me how to bake her famous cookies. I knew everything about her childhood, her dreams, her favorite songs. But my grandchildren? They don't even know what I did for work before I retired. They don't know that I grew up without electricity, that I met their grandfather at a dance when I was 19, that I have so many stories I'm dying to share with them. The really painful part is watching other families. You see these Instagram posts and Facebook photos of grandparents and grandchildren having these beautiful relationships, going on adventures together, cooking together, laughing together. And you wonder, what did I do wrong? Why don't my adult children prioritize that relationship? Why don't they see that their children need their grandparents and that we need them too? But here's what I've come to understand, and this might be hard to hear. Sometimes we become forgotten grandparents not because our families don't love us, but because we've accepted being pushed to the sidelines. We've become too polite, too understanding, too willing to say, oh, it's okay when plans get cancelled for the 3rd time. We've stopped advocating for our place in these little lives. I started asking myself some tough questions. When was the last time I initiated a real conversation with my adult children about this? Not complaining, not guilt-tripping, but actually talking about what kind of relationship I want to have with my grandchildren. When was the last time I suggested a specific activity, a regular tradition? Something that would create space for connection? And you know what's interesting? When I finally had that conversation, when I finally said, I miss the kids and I'd love to spend more intentional time with them, something shifted. Not overnight, but gradually. My daughter started calling more. My son began bringing the kids over for Sunday dinners again. Not because I demanded it, but because I expressed what I needed with love instead of resentment. But I also had to face some uncomfortable truths about myself. Had I been trying to connect with my grandchildren the same way I connected with my own children 30 years ago? Was I expecting them to be interested in the same things, to communicate the same way? These kids are growing up in a completely different world than the one I knew. Maybe instead of feeling hurt that they're always on their devices, I needed to learn what they actually enjoy doing on those devices. So I asked my 8-year-old grandson to teach me about his favorite video game, and you know what happened? For the first time in months, he talked to me for over an hour. He was excited, animated, patient with my questions. He showed me things, explained strategies, even complimented me when I finally figured out how to make the character jump. It wasn't the kind of bonding I had imagined, but it was real connection. The truth about being a forgotten grandparent is that sometimes we're not as forgotten as we think we are. Sometimes we're just connecting in the wrong language, at the wrong time, with the wrong expectations. These children live in a world of scheduled activities, screen time, and parents who are juggling more than any generation before them, the spontaneous drop-in visits. The long lazy afternoons that we remember from our own childhoods, they might not be realistic anymore, But that doesn't mean meaningful relationships are impossible. It just means we have to be more intentional, more creative, more willing to meet these children where they are instead of where we think they should be. Maybe it's learning to text instead of always calling. Maybe it's planning shorter but more focused visits. Maybe it's finding activities that don't require them to sit still and listen to stories they're not ready to hear yet. And here's something else I've learned. Being a grandparent in today's world requires us to have better relationships with our adult children, if there's tension there. If there are old hurts or misunderstandings, they trickle down to our relationships with the grandchildren. Sometimes the work we need to do isn't with the 8-year-old who seems uninterested in us. Sometimes it's with the 38-year-old who's still carrying something from their own childhood. I know this is painful to hear if you're going through this right now. I know the loneliness, the feeling of being replaced or forgotten. I know what it's like to buy birthday gifts that barely get acknowledged, to have holiday plans changed at the last minute, to feel like you're bothering people when you call. But I also know that giving up isn't the answer. And neither is staying bitter about it. Your grandchildren need you, even if they don't know how to show it yet. They need your stories, your wisdom, your different perspective on life. They need to know where they came from, what their family has overcome, what values have been passed down through generations. But they also need you to meet them in their world, not just expect them to enter yours. If you're feeling forgotten as a grandparent, I want you to know you're not alone in this struggle. So many of us are navigating this new landscape of modern family relationships. But don't let the pain of feeling forgotten keep you from reaching out, from trying new approaches, from having those difficult but necessary conversations with your adult children. Because here's what I believe with all my heart, these relationships can be rebuilt. These connections can be deepened. It might not look like what we expected, but it can still be beautiful and meaningful and worth fighting for. Your grandchildren are worth it. You are worth it. And the love between generations, that's always worth it. If this touched your heart today, please subscribe to Seniors Matter. Let's support each other through these challenging but important relationships, because being a grandparent might be different than we expected, but it's still one of life's greatest privileges.